I am your host, EQ Mitchell, and this is my podcast, A Trace of Wonder. My special guest today is Miss Carmen Calloway.
I am someone who assists or assisted women with their birthing journey. Becoming a doula, I turned that into an entrepreneurial
You Kappa too, right?
Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Alpha Kappa.
I am a lifelong learner. I always like to learn. I think that came from when I was younger and just being inquisitive and nosy.
That is a bona fide testimony. I see so much passion when you speak of it, and you was on the pathway of purpose. You understand what I'm saying?
So I will say, for the majority of my adult life, I have been caring for people. I think also that's where that passion of being a doula came from, and wanting to be a doula. With age comes wisdom.
Yeah.
And also with age comes failures that lead to experiences.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, EQ Mitchell, and this is my podcast, A Trace of Wonder. And I'm so glad for everybody to come and join me today. My special guest today is Miss Carmen Calloway. She's gonna sit in with me today, and I just wanted her to, just kind of expound a little bit with me today. We'll talk a little bit about life and maybe a little more about life experiences, but we do have one extra special topic. Maybe I need to slow down. A topic that I'm really infatuated with, like birth. What is God doing when it comes to birth, even these days? What are people's experiences and some testimonies about their relationship? And we're just going a little deeper. Miss Carmen here, she I'll let her explain pretty much far as like her job title, where I say profession, or things that she got involved in thereafter after being at what was it, Howard University?
Yes.
As a what, let me make sure I pronounce the term correctly. It's a doula. Am I correct?
Right.
Okay, because I've been butchering that. I mean, like it's a new term for me, and but I was real interested about it. It takes me doing my research on it, or whatever the case may be. Just looking at the means for someone to have the capacity to be in a caring type of individual. To take on the task of providing some type of aid. You understand what I'm saying? And these days, that's a little rare, man. For you to step outside and show that side of care and selflessness, man. That is a trace of wonder. So, Miss Carmen, if you want to go ahead and expound, or just tell people a little bit about yourself and, things of that nature. We welcome you to the show.
Well, thank you. And thank you for having me today and inviting me on your platform. I am absolutely impressed with not only this platform, but the messages that your vision is creating to get out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And also, even particularly, this particular subject that impacts a lot of women who give to this world through birth, through physical birth.
Yes.
And a lot of times you don't see men actually interested in that side of childcare or creating a family, right? The actual birthing part. So thank you so much.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always siding with God, and he's a miracle worker, and that's the best description that I have pertaining to this interesting topic. Just view a life, man. We take a lot of things for granted. A lot of times we don't even acknowledge, just special qualities like birth, being able to provide in a sense. Today, like I said, what was your experience like? That's what I want to convey. What was your experiences like being kind of hands on dealing with some of the people that you had to provide that service for?
Sure. I want to first start and just kind of give a little information on my pathway to being a trained doula. When I went to Howard for undergrad, my
Mm-hmm.
major originally was in communications, but
Okay.
then my mother had a massive stroke, and I immediately had to change course,
Okay.
not only in life, but also in my studies. And I had to figure out what could I practically do to finish school within the next 3 years, but
Yeah.
also be able to transition into graduate school when I came back to Georgia because I knew I still wanted to continue my education and I wanted to create a life for myself. And I
Right.
didn't want my life to end because her life had changed.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up transitioning to our School of Education. And within our School of Education, we have a human development program.
Okay.
And so I transitioned from communications to human development. My secondary minor was elementary education. So originally, what I thought I would do with the degree was take it and get into the school system and eventually become an administrator.
Okay.
But once I completed my undergrad degree and looked at graduate programs, I thought, well, maybe I should at least add another type of specialty and ended up into a program for educational research. So while
Okay.
it was still under the umbrella of education, it was more research focused and not classroom focused.
Mm.
But while I was in school, I always continued to have the itch for health and the development of children and of people because within the human development program, you really look at life throughout the lifespan. So from birth to death. And that fascinated me.
Okay.
And so when I got to graduate school, though I was in this master's program for educational research, I still, cared about specifically women's health. And so I
Mm-hmm.
knew, I'm going to have to go into this. And I looked at a PhD program at Emory University for their PhD in women's health at the time. And I will be honest, I did not get in the program. Years later, I realized I didn't get in the program because I didn't have the experience. But at that time, I was very green and new and just trying to figure out life because I was also having to rearrange my life around this life circumstance with my mother.
Right.
And so when I didn't get into that program, I thought, well, God, maybe you don't want me to go into that direction. But
Mm-hmm.
it was still a part of my heart. It was still a part of my interest and still was that itch there to get into it. And I had a friend who became pregnant and she wanted me to be one of her birthing partners.
Okay.
And so, in the world of maternal health and in the world of birthing, we often call those who are there next to the person that is giving birth a birthing partner. And so, I had the wonderful opportunity and was honored to be her birthing partner. And while I was her birthing partner, she also had a doula come in. And I just absolutely realized I want to do that.
Mm. Okay.
Right? Like,
Okay.
I want to do that. And I looked up what it was and what the requirements were. And then it also sent me down a whole pathway of midwifery, which is becoming a midwife. I didn't do that. But I saw that becoming a doula was something that was actually attainable without me having to go to 10 years of college. And so once she gave birth, I had the opportunity to take on my first, if you will, doula client, but
Okay.
I didn't want to do it without being trained because technically you don't have to have formal training at that time. Now things have changed. So I want to be very clear things have changed. And that was over 12 years ago, but
Mm.
things have changed now. So I went through training through an organization called DONA, and it was absolutely amazing and I learned a lot about the birthing process. Now, I am not a licensed physician, and I never want to misrepresent myself as such because I have such a respect for that role.
That's
But
it.
I am uh, someone who assists or assisted women with their birthing journey.
Uh-huh.
And it has been a wonderful experience for me. I think for all of the clients that I've had, they have had great experiences, even when it was touch and go, because I've had a couple of clients where we had a touch and go moments, but that is absolutely why I'm there. And so it has been just amazing journey from Howard to there. Now, I will say right now, I am not um, practicing because I am focused on other pursuits right now.
Right.
But it is something that will never leave me, and I certainly will transition back into that role.
That is a bona fide testimony. I see so much passion when you speak of it, and you was on the pathway of purpose. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of times, I don't know if we are conscious that a lot of the things that we're passionate about, you have to have. It's purpose driven. It is purpose driven. So.
Absolutely.
I commend you on your zest and zeal for just being in alignment with it and wanting to get the training, the education, the understanding. I'm big when it comes to understanding. So yeah, that's something else. So what about your personal life in terms of you doing all of this far as education and everything like that? Did it kind of put a strain on things, or were you able to still kind of like balance just things that you still wanted to do personally as well?
Well, what is balance? Does that exist? I think that's the thing about life. You're always learning. I mean, you're learning not just textbook, but you're learning how to live. We've only been on this earth one time. This is or I won't say one time. This is our first time living in this form.
Right.
And so I think I constantly am trying to balance whatever it is. So for a long time, I was almost a lifelong student. I'm currently in a program right now with Harvard University that I plan on finishing this summer. It is not in health, but it is a curriculum that I will soon be able to complete my capstone and have a credential for. I am a lifelong learner. I always like to learn. I think that came from when I was younger and just being inquisitive and nosy. And so, and I was I was in the magnet program in elementary and high school, but I was nowhere near the top scholar. But I always was inquisitive and always loved to read, particularly magazines and social periodicals. But that has transferred into books now. And so I've always been a lifelong learner, but I've always also had an entrepreneurial spirit. So even with the doula, becoming a doula, I turned that into an entrepreneurial.
You Kappa too, right?
Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Sorority Incorporated.
What's your colors? Y'all,
salmon pink and apple green.
That's what you got.
Now I have one. Well, I have one bright pink today. But I have always been a learner. I've always been interested in entrepreneurial opportunities.
Yeah.
And again, my life changed in college when my mother had her stroke. And now I also have a 93-year-old grandmother. And so they take up a lot of my time.
And that's what we have in common.
We do.
Because mine is 93 years old.
Yeah.
And you take care of her and take good care of her like as I do mine. And that's a whole nother job people have no idea about.
Job.
Yeah, that's a full-time job. Because is she still mobile?
She still is mobile, and she is as independent as she can be at 93. So you might catch her on the street. Now you might catch her on the side streets, but you might even catch her out in the street.
That's how my grandma is. I tell you the truth. People always calling, checking on her. I'm saying, man, look, I can't even rightfully say I'm taking care of her. She still thinks she's taking care of me.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
They came from a place where a lot of their food supply and intake, they was eating out of the ground.
Right.
So that's why they still so much in great health today. You know what I'm saying? I said, man, they didn't fill up with all this fast food and all of this junk food like that. So it's a treat for them now. You know what I'm saying? To be able to do it. But man, my grandmama Piccadilly to you to death. That's how she
Ask me what we ate 2 days ago. Absolutely.
Oh man, boy, I tell you the truth. I know I had spoke to you and I said, Carmen, what you doing? You said, I'm in here cooking. Oh, you had it going for them, huh?
I did. And that's a large part of my life. And I think for a long time, It was very difficult to manage that
Yeah.
because my grandfather was alive um, before he passed away. He before he passed away, of course he was alive, but before he passed away, he unfortunately had cancer for
Oh,
two
man.
years, and so between my grandmother and myself, we were co-caregivers of him having cancer. And then once he passed away, my grandmother was still in older age. It ended up being her and my mom. So I will say, for the majority of my adult life, I have been caring for people. I think also that's where that passion of being a doula came from, and wanting to be a doula and having my own reproductive health issues, which I don't mind saying. Um, I think being there for people who aren't helpless,
Mhm.
but where your help can help them,
There you go.
you know,
There you go.
and wanting to be there for them.
Yeah.
And so for the majority of my adult life, I have been a caregiver
Yeah.
in some form or capacity.
Yeah.
I think now at this age, in almost my mid 40s, I've gotten to that stage where I feel like a lot of mothers get once their kids become 20-year-olds, and they feel like, oh, now I can do stuff for me. So I'm starting to do more stuff for me
That's how
now.
you feel?
Yes, because I've also, age, which with age comes wisdom,
Yeah.
and also with age comes failures that lead to experiences. And so, or experience. And so now there's a lot that I've learned over the last 20 years that I've realized I can do better in,
Yeah.
even being more organized with my time and making
Mhm.
sure I include myself in my to-do
You
list.
got to. Time
Right.
management, Carmen got to have a life too. You know what I'm
Absolutely. And
saying?
Carmen has a full life.
I
And that's why
know
I said,
that's
where is
right.
balance? Because some weeks Carmen is focused on Carmen, and
You doing your jewelry line and stuff like that too,
I
right?
am.
Entrepreneur.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Yeah, that's all right. What kind of stuff you putting together?
Well, so I'm an independent rep for a company called Bomb Party.
Okay.
If you are in the Bomb Party world, you are very knowledgeable about Bomb Party. It is surprise reveal jewelry. And
Okay.
I'm looking at my hands because I have on some of the jewelry now and a necklace.
I see it's nice.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah.
thank you. And so it is a direct selling company, and so I have inventory that I sell. I do it via, you can come to my site, or via TikTok Live. So
Give
I'm
them
in the
your
TikTok
handle.
world.
Yeah, give them your handle where they know where to come and get your nice jewelry from. You
They can
know.
visit Elevated Charms on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
But also I have another page that shows all of my personal pursuits. Carmen does it all, with the
Okay.
underscore at the end.
All right. There you have it. There you have it. That's all right. That's all right. So so you have a lot going on and you saying so time management has to
Hmm.
be at the top of your list
It
to
absolutely
be able
is.
to compartmentalize and to be able to get things done and to stay consistent, stay at the top of everything that you do. Because a lot of times we think, we'll just take on so much things and we don't have things organized in a way where we don't prioritize and we don't
Hmm.
get around to everything like we should or whatever. So where did that come from? I mean, I know you was raised by your mom and dad, or
By my grandparents and my
okay.
mother. But my
So
grandparents had a huge hand in raising me.
and I can equate to that because normally, well, this is just from my own perspective. I see many people that have been raised by their grandparents.
Hmm.
They hold a certain maturity. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like
They do.
it's a little trace of wonder, a little maturity there that just that I see that's very deep. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like um, you know, um, very, very to the point, very deep, very, I wouldn't use the word serious, but um, what I want to say, spot on, just accurate. There
Hmm.
we go.
Hmm.
Accurate about knowing what direction you want to go with, what and the way that you want to do things. Because sometimes um we don't come into a place of being specific, and that's even in relationships. You understand that and I don't want to put you on the spot like that, but what type of relationship would be in the mix for Carmen? Like at this age now.
At this age
from
now.
you being coming from, starting at Howard College. I know you look at the world differently. So what would that look like today?
You know what? So going to Howard actually does color your lens a lot about how you look at the world, because Howard truly gives you a lot. And I think a lot of historically Black colleges do that. They equip you to deal with the world as you are, as a Black person living in an environment, a society that may not look like you, and how you can still continue to be successful and still be a leader. And it gives you so much confidence. I will say though, when I was younger, whether it was high school and then college and then my 20s, I was very immature. And emotionally immature at that. And so
when it came to relationships,
and just interacting with the opposite sex, right? So I think a lot of that probably had to do with being an only child. And not necessarily having a lot of exposure to build friendships organically. And so just not even, I've always had girlfriends, specifically friends that were females. When I say girlfriends in that sense, I've always had girlfriends, always been close to my girls, still am. As you know, one of them. Still am. And so being an only child, having a close friendship circle, I always felt secure in that way. So whenever I was around boys, around males, regardless of what I might appear as, I was always very timid. I did not have a lot of confidence. I don't think that I realized my own power. I think a lot of women don't until they get older. And when I say power, I mean just my ability to impact the environment that I'm in. So if I was in a room or in a situation or on a date, for me, I shrunk back because I felt like the lesser person. Now I can articulate that now. Back then, I didn't know what it was. And I think that led to a lot of immaturity and a lot of immature behaviors and poor decision making.
Well, we all been there. You know, when you young like that, you have what they call them little skeletons in the closet and different things that you just kind of, I can't believe I was there. But then, as you progress, things start, it's light per se at the end of the tunnel. But I do know one thing about it is, I know you're a woman of faith, a believer, and a lot of times that when you are, God's guiding light, his protection and things of that nature, it is just that, sometimes we don't see it as that, but he intervenes and sometimes, just he'll prolong things for greater. And I know you know that.
I do know that. And to answer your question, I don't think I directly answer your question either. You asked me, what do I look for now? I think the biggest thing at this age is truly genuine partnership. And someone who I can just be around, be myself, have a good time, and we just live life. I think, when I was younger, a lot of the men that I would meet again, I would shrink back, or I would look at them with the lens of, will my friends like them? Do they have this going on? Do they have this type of job? Are they on this certain pathway? And now, because my lens has changed, not only the type of men that I attract has changed, even down to my male friendships, are a lot richer because I know who I am. And even if I'm still evolving, I know that I'm evolving, right? So I still have a deeper understanding of me. But also I know that the type of attributes that I was looking for before, they don't make a good partner, right? And I will say this, they don't make a good partner if what your intent is to find somebody who you can navigate this life with, that does not bring you drama, that does not bring you hardship. Those things may happen in a relationship, but they don't bring it to your doorstep.
You absolutely on point with it. It's about friendship.
It really is.
It's about friendship, man. If you ain't got that, you don't have nothing. You know, our marriage is based on that foundation, like totally. Like, man, I'm laughing, and you know, we laughing and just enjoying each other.
And if I laugh,
and
if you ain't
that's
laughing with
life.
what I'm laughing at, this ain't gonna work.
It ain't a match.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to, y'all got to have the same
Right.
kind of jokes, you know what I'm saying? And qualities, you know, inside jokes. That's love, man.
That's
you know what I'm
love.
saying? That's love.
And showing up even when you don't want to show up. But not only that, I had to take a little step further and showing up without an attitude.
Yeah. Well, you know, so men have this two enemies that we have. And I don't know if these two enemies get worse the older you get, or is it worse when you're younger? But it's two of them, and they're called ego and pride.
Yes.
Those two right there are the devil when it comes to a man getting in the way of his relationship. And men, if you could get ego and pride out of your atmosphere, let's just say that, out of your atmosphere, it can do your relationship wonders. Because you know you stop you stop having, how do I want to put this, the ego makes you feel like I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? I don't need you. And then so like pride is almost like a pity thing, almost. You know, like, well, I do need you, but I ain't gonna ask you for your help. I know I need you, but I ain't gonna ask you. I'm gonna act like I don't need you. Well, that's not gonna work in a relationship, is what I'm saying. Like, you know, there's no way that you're gonna have the closeness that you wanna have with your mate. And then in terms, you know, so what is the result of not being in a closeness with the one who you supposed to love? Well, then, you know, that's opportunities for other doors to open, so you can get into other things. And once you take your attention off of your woman, what you got? You ain't got nothing. Now, I might get beat up about what I'm saying about men and, you know what I'm saying, the enemies that we possess, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
It's hard truths.
Accountability. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be accountable. Don't even come and, you know, invade somebody else's space. You understand what I'm saying? Don't occupy their time if you know you playing. That's all I'm saying.
Right. And that comes with maturity too.
Yeah, it comes with maturity. But I'm saying you can't mature with pride and ego. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no way. Yeah, it's no way. It's no way. But you know, we got to do better.
I think we all do, but I completely accept you saying that men have to do better, but we all do.
We got to do better. I let you respond to that. I know women got to do better. You know, y'all be on another type of timing too, but you know, in general, you at a place. You're at a place, Carmen, where, you know, you done been where you been in life, career, education, and things of that nature. That could possibly be a little intimidating to some of the guys. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
In a sense, I'm not saying that you need to dim your light. I'm just saying that in the means of, you know, like you said, even your friendships have changed. Male friendships have changed.
Become a lot deeper.
They have become a lot deeper. Well, you know, that's the path that you gotta just continue on. In my viewpoint, you know what I'm saying? Don't scale back. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, don't scale back.
Look, I didn't know where you were going with that. You know, I believe that there is some intimidation, or a lot of intimidation, but I think because I am in my 40s and I have lived a lot of lives, And I have been a lot of different women throughout my life. I think one of the things that I'm not going to do is not be true to myself. And I see a lot of people give advice to women that is actually counter to what you're saying. They'll say, you should scale back on your dreams and allow yourself to find love right now. Or they'll ask women to change what their dreams are. And honestly, I think life is too short to live it for other people. And I also believe that when it's time for that love that God has for you to come,
but that's what I'm saying. But because your faith is in God, that's why I say don't scale back. Because if you do that, that's like you not having faith in His plan for your life, and you saying that His plan and what He have down the road or in the near future is it does not exist. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So that's why I say that. You know, and what we deal with, like I say, coming back to the position of caretakers, you know, like being in that position like that, you know, that's a priority that He may see fit at a higher priority than all the rest of the stuff for right now. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And only you will know that. Mm-hmm.
And you know what, Quincy, I think that a lot of my contentment right now in life and being a caregiver and also showing up well as a caregiver, right? Because you can be a caregiver, but showing up and making sure that you care for those around you, whether you're a caregiver for your spouse or for your parent, grandparent, or your child, you show up well. A lot of that is also understanding that is the season that I'm in, and that is what God has on my plate. There you go. There you go. Recently, like I said, I've realized that I can start prioritizing myself in that, and I have, but it's taken years for me to find that space, right? And when I was trying to force it, I will tell you, I was probably not the most reliable person. I probably was not as organized as I should have been, and I still fail in those areas at times, like we all do. We're human. But right now, I know that my focus and my priority and my interest is on my family and making sure they're well and making sure that those things that I did not have the chance to pursue when I was younger, when I wanted to pursue other things, that I do them now, that I still have energy and time and even a little money to do it with. Amen. So.
Well, yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, you got to do what works for you. And then the thing about that is not only doing what works for you, but you have a sense of clarity when you have a prayer life like that. You know, it brings everything into perspective for you where you're not playing a guessing game. You know what I mean? Amen. Like we have a casual conversation right now, but it's like, you know what you know where you going with what you got. You know what I mean? And you know what God has for you, and that's the most important thing. When you know what He has for you, hey man, you working with something. You know what I mean? Yeah, you working with something. So outside of that, I appreciate everything that you bring to the table as a person, as a friend to Shavaka and I. You know, we always you always have a special place with us. You know, we just really enjoy the type of person you are. That's why I said, well, I hope she could come on and just come and share with me. You know, I want to, be in a position to always give all my friends their flowers while we still around, while we still living, and we still got years and years to go, as good quality people. You know what I mean? Yeah, good quality people.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all and this opportunity.
Yeah. So, but okay, so we on the end of that far as the relationship, as far as relationship goes. So I'm saying, what would an ideal date be? Like an ideal date, ideal man. You know, do you have that? You know, like somewhere around, or just an idea of what that would look like for you. I know Valentine's coming up and everything like that. What would an ideal date would look like for you?
You know what? I will say this. There's a lot of talk on social media now about if you don't start with high standards, a man will treat you exactly how he wants to treat you.
Okay.
And so I believe in setting the tone and setting standards, but I also believe in authenticity. And so, like I said earlier, just genuine connection and genuine friendship. So when I say what my ideal date is, it's not because my standards are low, but because I just as a woman, I am as a person, as a woman, I'm very easygoing in that way.
Yeah.
Anything where I get to spend time with you and I get to know you.
Mm-hmm.
So whether we're going out to dinner and then afterwards we may go see a movie, and then afterwards we may sit and talk in the car while the radio is on.
Right.
That to me,
Yeah.
that's a good night.
That's a good night. Yeah.
That's a good night. And if anybody has ever gone to dinner or gone to the movies and done the other after, going to the dinner and movies and sat in the car in the driveway with the music on for 2 hours, that's it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I absolutely love that. But also I'm open to anything. I think your interest, my interest, if we have an interest in ice skating, I'm just throw that out there.
Okay.
Doing something fun, to me, that's ideal. Me seeing you in your element.
Activity based.
Right. And something that you like, right?
Uh-huh.
Or if you are someone who, if you like going to the basketball game, if you like going to see the Hawks, because we in Atlanta, if you like going to see the Falcons, I'd love to come with you. And I want to see them too, but also knowing that I'm there enjoying something that you enjoy and I can see you in your natural element as well. That's important to me. And that's a good time too. Because absolutely, if I want to do something, I want you to be interested in it too.
Yeah. and you said something that's so key. And I'm still riding this thing out. But you said something so key because, it's one thing for you to be in a position in the car and in the dinner and things of that nature, y'all one-on-one. But when you go out in public, per se, like activities or this, you get a chance to see how a person really interacts and how they really are. And then you can, kind of gauge where like, okay, I can really see your personality and see how you act with people because that's important. That is important because that's the person that you're going to be dealing with down the road, man. That's important, man. How do you interact and how you work out with people, man? Yeah. So, we're gonna touch bases on that and see what we can conjure up.
Okay.
See what we can conjure up, man. I don't want to put you on the spot like that, but good quality and a good value person is hard to come by.
I think it is. And I think, when I talk about social media influencing a lot in my everyday conversations, but I think unfortunately social media has influenced men and women both with how we look at relationships and how we see the world.
Oh yeah.
And so I think even people who are probably of quality, they're so influenced by all of the what you'd call discord that's going around about this is what women are like, this is what men are like. I even say I am, right?
Yeah.
Seeing a lot of posts of women showing their relationships with their men that's not necessarily positive. That influences me sometimes to say, you know what, being single is the best thing. Yeah. So even if Mr. Right walks by, I'm not even looking at him because I'm thinking, oh, you just gonna be like everything that I just saw in my feed. And I think the same thing probably happens for men as well. Yeah. But I think that something that we all have to keep in mind and remember is, again, like I said earlier, we're all living our first time on, on earth, but also social media isn't real. And there are some people that'll say social media is real.
Right.
How you look at it determines what you take from it. But when I say social media isn't real, when you can step back from social media and take time and see it for what it is, right? I'm just posting a picture of something that I like or something that I did today or my family, and you can put that phone down or close that laptop or close that iPad and go out into the real world. You actually see people in their element and you realize there are more quality people than you think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that you'll meet every day. But you just have to put some of that influence, that digital influence down a little bit,
Right.
And allow yourself to go out into the world.
That can be challenging.
It can be.
That can be challenging. And it can be challenging nowadays with the online platforms, as far as the dating sites and just doing the old school way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That it really could. You know, you have a lot of representations out there when you dealing like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know the fine line between that when it comes to the old school way or the new school, because it still was kind of like, okay, when I'm just meeting somebody for the first time, you know, y'all physically meeting. Are you taking, you know, your representative out there with them when you first meet them? You know, we hear that all. We have heard that a lot in our time.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And then, so with the social media part, are they just presenting to you what they want you to see because everybody is watching?
Mm-hmm.
So for men, we kind of want to feel like, yo, we want to feel. I don't know. I don't want to speak for women. I'm gonna speak for men.
Okay.
We do want a woman that feels like she wants a one and only.
Okay.
I guess I can say it like that.
Okay.
But men want to be your one and only too. Not all of them want to be after they. Well, the ones that have come to a place of maturity.
Okay.
Let's say that.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be speaking for everybody. And then everybody out here and they...
In your comment section saying, wait a minute.
Yeah. You got some that's finished with all of that. You know what I'm saying? They get to that place where they just, you know, it's just done. It's just too much of a hassle. You understand what I'm saying? Past mistakes far as like, you know, hurts, trauma, a slew of things may be off-putting where they just don't want to be, you know, in the mix of things so much so and want to find one. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that. I don't know what age that is for a man. I can't sit up here and lie to you and say I know what age that is for a man. I think it's just come through by experience. You understand that? But you know,
Can I say something to that though?
Yeah.
And I can't speak for all women, but what I can say is from the women that I know, and there may be women out there that feel the same way. I think for a lot of us, we don't want you when you have gone through it all and now you feel tired or you feel like, oh, I've done all of that. Now I'll just find somebody to settle down with and they can care for my tired bones and help me clean up my wounds, right?
Absolutely.
And I think there are some men, and it may not necessarily be what you are talking about, but there are some men that I think may navigate in that space where they think I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna do what I want to do,
have all their fun,
have all my fun. I'll just find somebody that can just carry me on home. Yeah. And no woman wants to be a hospice nurse. You know, when we are thriving and enjoying life. And here you come saying, all right, I did what I needed to do. You want to get married? No, bye.
Yeah,
I don't. Not with you at your worst when I finally become my best, right?
Right. Well,
so I think it gets tough sometimes when we hear that because we know what you mean by, you know, I've done those things and I'm ready to find the one. But I think sometimes there is a selfishness in some people, and I'll say people do it generally, in some people who think that way because no one wants you to come when you have burnt through everything else.
You ain't got nothing,
and now you're coming to me and you don't have nothing to give me. Right. And I'm here to show up as my best self, as best as I can, because I'm not perfect. And you still may get some of the old me, right?
Yeah.
But what I am going to do is show up as best as I can for you when I can. And now you showing up tired. All you want to do is really nothing, and you just want to tell everybody now you settle down with one woman, and it's me. And now I feel like you're telling the world basically you just settled. I don't want to ever feel that.
Now, yeah. I don't. I'm I'm not trying to come from that standpoint, and hopefully,
You're not.
and hopefully that's not the message. What I'm saying is, as you know, and you were saying, just to piggyback what you said, life happens to people.
It does.
You know, life just happens and happens and happens. And what I mean is, some things may not necessarily be self-imposed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I'm speaking of. But you still want to be men still want to be watchful of that, because there's no way to put it down, and I'm using that slang terminology because for the simple fact, it's about the company that you keep.
True.
Now,
true.
if you running around with these type of guys that's doing that, then you know you can easily be categorized for that, because you know people see you for who you affiliate yourself with. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is, we had to get to a place where we either separate ourselves, or you know, sometimes God separates us, you know, and get us to a place where it's like, hey man, look, you need to close all of those doors from past things, past traumas and things of that nature. And now you need to, you know, be in a better position and mindset where you can have, you know, not settle.
Right. I know what you mean.
Let's get that straight. Not settle, but have, you know, a queen. Somebody that's vibrant and ready to run and paint the town red with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's a way that you look at it. It's a way a man has to look at it too. Like you got to come out from, you got to change your lenses per se. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, and I don't do a lot when it comes to the age, because at any age,
true,
it can still be about energy. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be, you know, in your 60s and still have your fire lit to go on and just live a vibrant life with your new woman and all of that, you know, because y'all do something to a man. y'all give a man, spark a man energy, and have a man just where he feel like, man, you know, I can go and climb, I can go and conquer the world and do this and do that. Yeah, so you know, but we have to be in a position, man, where we're open to that type of joy in order for us to experience that. Because a man not going to be able to experience you in your fullness and this type of person that you are if he's still running around with, you know, guys that don't want to do nothing with their life.
True.
You feel what I'm saying? True. Because yeah, that's man, you know, you mirror. Your life ain't nothing but a mirror
of who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, you gotta watch you. You gotta watch who you run with. You know what I'm saying?
You really do.
People be jealous of you, and you don't even know it, and you still hanging around the jealousy. And it's like, man, they don't want to see you get over there with that good woman and change your life. Everybody can see they you know, we can see people's potential more than we can see our own a lot of times.
Very true.
You know, so. Yeah, we just had to be careful when it comes to that. But you know, the best way that I know how to alleviate all of that and cut straight through the mess is to stay prayed up.
Stay prayed up.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Keep prayer alive,
and
man.
I think one of the important things for and I don't say this as an expert, but something that I think ministers, that I think faith influencers like you, and I consider you like a faith influence, you know, your faith influences and what you're putting into the world that's based in godly principles. What is important is for men, and I say this for you, is helping men who don't necessarily understand what that means, because you can tell someone you need to pray about it, or you can tell somebody you need to get closer to your faith. And what I have learned as a woman through my own mentorship, because I have mentees and I've had women that ask me to be their mentor based on other things that I do in my daily life. And one of the things that I've learned is sometimes people just don't know the how. And instead of, to your point of that pride and ego, instead of saying, hey, I don't know how to do that, sometimes you have to lead with, this is what you need to do, but let me show you and tell you how to do it. And I think you saying that have a prayer life and stay prayed up, that's absolutely spot on. What I also think is there are a lot of people that don't necessarily know what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
They know I can get on my knees and I can pray. I can go to church and I can stand at the pew and say, thank you, Lord, and bow my head when the preacher is praying for the altar call. But they really don't know what it's like to have that one-on-one personal relationship with God. And oftentimes they don't learn it until the worst thing that they can think of happens in their life. And even still, they're trying to figure it out. So I know something that probably can be very, very helpful and for all of us to do is for those who seek some type of faithful support or support in navigating faith and understanding a prayer life, is also showing how and what that could look like.
Yeah. Well, fellas, what I'm gonna do for you, I'm gonna give you an example for you guys that don't know what to do in certain situations of prayer life or what that looks like or anything of that nature. And sometimes what it can possibly be, as Carmen and I both said, pride. We don't want to look like we don't know what to do as men sometimes, because we're supposed to have everything together. So it's like, I'm gonna give you the biggest conflict is the age difference, and I say that respectfully because I know where I am in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of men that come before me,
mm-hmm.
Who have came before me and are older than me, and they know that I have expertise in certain areas that they lack,
mm-hmm.
but because they feel like I'm here, their pride won't allow them to come and get the help that they need.
They won't listen.
Mm-hmm. Pride, you know. So I just want to do this for, for the listeners out there, man. Listen, man. Having a prayer life having a prayer life is just you talking to God, just like we're having a simple conversation right now. He hears every word, and he is our personal savior. It's a personal thing. So let's just. I don't want to complicate. It's just a personal message, a personal conversation that you can have with him. Don't make it too complicated. Don't get so to the point where you make it harder than what it is, because God is not like man. He's not going to judge you like a man. Right. He's not going to look at all your shortcomings like a man and say, well, you don't have a title, so your prayer is insignificant. Nah, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. It would do many people with a title to drop their title when they go into their prayer with God. Yeah, truth be told, man, you don't want to go high and mighty to him, man. We got to get rid of that type of attitude, man. You know what I'm saying? Because when we at a place like that, we're not in a position to help anybody.
Right.
We not, So yeah, it's just simple. Go and speak to the Father. You can close your eyes. You can whisper it to yourself and talk to God. I talk to him all day long.
Me too.
I have to. Too. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, it's just carry simple, me through every moment.
yeah, man. You talk to him. Who was it? Abraham in the Bible? God called him a friend of God. He was beyond all the rest of the titles out here. He was a friend of God, man. So he had a relationship. And that's what it's about at the end of the day, Carmen. It's about a relationship, And all that, the word of God says in the book of Proverbs, and all that get understanding, So you want to have that understanding. And the understanding is that understand that it's about a relationship with your Father.
Absolutely.
It's about a relationship.
Even if you don't know the Bible, even if you've never heard anybody say a scripture or even say a prayer around you, it is wherever you are, however you are, that's how God wants you to show up.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've learned that even in my worst times where I didn't think that I was worthy to even show up, to even to go to church or to even speak the name God, because what am I doing that's so godly? That's when God wants you the most.
Yeah.
That's when he knows that
Yeah.
you, because you're not bringing no false pretenses. All
There
you
you
are
go.
is just bringing you. And I've learned, over the years, Quincy, sometimes if I don't even know what to pray, and this is for anybody, if you don't know what to pray or what to say, if you just say, God help me, Lord help me.
That's it.
That's all you need.
That's a prayer.
That's a prayer right there.
That's a perfect example. I couldn't have said it even better. That's a perfect example. Just God help me. If that's all you can utter,
that's all you can say.
That's
and sometimes that's all you can say.
He'll take that. You know what I mean?
That.
Because of the sincerity of it coming from your heart. It's genuine. You know.
It's genuine.
Yeah, it is genuine. And so Carmen, we're gonna go ahead and close out and wrap on up today. I sure appreciate you coming by and just blessing the podcast, our listeners, and you just continue to be that ray of sunshine in the world that God created you to be. You could only do it the way that you do it.
That's the only way that I can do it. I may show up imperfect, but I always show up the best that I can. Hey. Now, some days that best might be on a scale of 1 to 10. It might be a 3, but I will promise you it was the best I could give you. I will always show up the best I can.
Amen to that, man. Amen to that. Amen to that. So yeah, I appreciate all the listeners. We on so many different platforms now. We on radio, on the podcast radios around. I appreciate everybody tuning in, listening, man. It's been a pleasure. This is EQ Mitchell, a trace of wonder, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you.